Yeah, that's what I like to know. All right. Still getting used to my Teams notifications. Welcome, everybody. My name is Jared. I'll be your host for today. So if you have any questions, pop it open in the chat or in the Q&A. Or if it's a little complicated and you want to be able to speak, please let us know how to, or not let us know how to, man, I'm just too many things in my head. Let me know. I can allow you to talk and we can talk about your use case in detail. As you think about your questions, we have a couple of really cool things over here up on the top right. We have the QR code to get access to the decision support channel, which is basically where we post any YouTube videos on how-tos, how to build certain things, conceptual videos for enhanced learning. You can find that on that QR code. If you go all the way to the bottom right here, this is our QR code for the Decision Solutions Marketplace. Excuse me. Over there, we have some pre-built projects that you can download and import into your environment so that you can see how they're built and see how they function. The other things that are also fun here too is that we have a submerged deep dive training in Denver, Colorado. So if you're on the near the west coast of the United States of America and you want to have a live session where you get to see different things presented by well-qualified individuals, there's a submerged training event there that's coming up. So feel free to sign up as soon as possible so that we can see you there. Alrighty, we got some V9 breadcrumb speak and share screenplays. V9 breadcrumbs? Sure, allow you to talk. Go right ahead, Marvin. How can I help?
Morning, Jared.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good.
Good.
Organization has not switched to version 9 yet,
Okay.
but this came up in training,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd like to share my screen if you don't mind, so I can
Unfortunately,
show
I
you.
can't. I can't allow you to share screen on this one because we post this to YouTube. So just in case
Oh,
if you
okay,
have any
okay,
confidential
all
data.
right.
So yeah.
The the issue is for when you share a public folder
Mm-hmm.
for those who are not developers or administrators.
Mm-hmm.
I,
No, I don't have one.
one example, I was just going through the I9 dashboard as an example, and
Mm-hmm.
the actual breadcrumbs for a user, if you want to call them that, um, it shows, the home icon, the project name, the public folder, and
Mm-hmm.
then the so-called dashboards, the breadcrumbs uh, from there. The
Sure, sure.
issue is for users, we're not going to want to show the project name.
The what? Oh, let me look. Let me log into this one.
Yeah, just
I can
sure.
probably find out. Well, I think it's this one. Let me stop. Turn this one off. Let's see. Da, 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 da.
I sent in the chat, Jared.
Thanks. I was about to. I was like, let me go to the Google Drive. I'm like, oh wait, we don't have Google. All right. All right. Cool. Sweet. Awesome. So, all right. So we got some stuff. So go ahead. You're talking about when you share stuff in the public folder.
If you put stuff in the public folder, what shows up there at the top is, of course, the little house for home,
Mm-hmm.
the projects folder, if you want to call it that, and then it
Yeah.
has public, and
Mm-hmm.
then any dashboards under public.
Sure.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The
Correct.
problem is as a everyday user, we don't want to show anything from before manager dashboard in this case.
Sure.
Is there an option to tailor that?
You probably
Or
could. I think it's with CSS for that one. I'm not quite sure. Well,
or
you know,
is there a setting or something?
question is, how can we hide these specific ones right here?
Right. In other words,
Breadcrumbs,
I mean, if we showed public folders, that's not a
but they
big
want
deal.
to go into it.
But
So let me get this straight. So Marvin, you basically you want to give someone permissions to this manager dashboard, but you don't want them to know the navigation path to that dashboard. Did I
right.
understand
Well,
you correctly?
the issue is
Mm-hmm.
when you, like in your case, there you have Travel Splash,
Mm-hmm.
the training. But once we're up and going in version 9 for our organization, we
Mm-hmm.
don't necessarily want to show all the project names. Who knows what those things could be? They could be just letters and numbers, depending on how somebody
Mm-hmm.
created their naming convention for project names.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's going to be real confusing
Mm-hmm.
to the end user.
Sure. Yeah. So basically, what I'm understanding in summary is like basically just hiding this, right? Like there's no breadcrumb.
Maybe not the last one,
Okay,
but
I gotcha.
up to public folders, whether you include public folders or not, that's question mark. It's
Mm-hmm.
especially the ones before public folder, because then
Gotcha.
it would match the quote folder structure on the left.
Well, so here's the thing to be aware of.
Okay.
It's kind of weird in version 9, right? In version 9, we have two views. We have the project hub view, which shows you the entire folder tree.
Right.
But if
And
I
a
go into
standard
the
user wouldn't see that.
if I go into the folder view here, this is the exact same dashboard I have. And notice it just says here's home and then that dashboard. And so the user does not have that long kind of breadcrumb there
Well,
for the path.
all right. So I created a dashboard
Mm-hmm.
for a user to log in,
Mm-hmm.
and it shows the house, the project name, public, and then the folder for the dashboards, and then the dashboard itself, because I've got two dashboards and I put them
Sure.
in a folder.
Let's
So,
test it. Let's test it out. So
so did
I
I
can
do
create that.
something wrong? I
Not
just,
sure.
we know in the future.
Mm-hmm. So let me do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a new account here, right? So this is going to be, I'm going to say this is limit at deck.com. And then I'll give it super secret password, right? No one can know. And I'm just going to give it the ability, add member, and I'm going to say this is all users. And then let's see here, language active. What was that? You can pick the location, I think. Yeah, I could pick the default location. Before I do that, I'm just going to add this here. So let me make sure I open my notepad here, and
yes.
because I always use this all the time, so I can reference it. So I'm going to go ahead and create this account, and actually I'm going to create another group too. We'll say this is my uh, end user group. That's what we'll call it, right?
Okay.
And I'm going to go down here, save, and then this end user group. Let me add a user, add remove counts.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to go add this here. So now limit at deck is in there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to give for the project hub. Let's see if I'm going to go back. I can give permissions. Where's this one? This one, manager dashboard. Okay, cool. We're going to give the travel splash permissions, and we're going to give the group can use. Let's see. I'm going to say can use, and we're going to do this for in the folder tree. All. Show me all of them. System security groups and user group. Boom. I want to pick that one, and now we can see what happens. I want to save the permissions, and then what I'm going to do is on another browser, share this. I'm going to grab this is my other browser on something different. Actually, let me grab a different one. I can use Edge. Microsoft Edge. We're going to go navigate to the exact same location. Where did Edge go? And then we're going to go to, let me put it here, limit, and then my password, log in, and then we can get to see, yeah, sure. And then I can see here. All right, so I don't have access to it, which is no problem. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, go into my travel splash and go into my public folder and give permissions for the public folder. And I'm going to add, it's the can use, can open, can view for that public folder of the project for the end user group. And let's see if that takes care of that. And then now I'm going to refresh on this side. Okay, boom. So then I refreshed on this side and I go here. And yeah, looks like it still keeps the breadcrumb for that particular end user. It just looks like the permissioning that you need to have is, and I want to test this. If I remove this permissioning here, let's remove it.
Yeah, that's one thing I don't think I did. I just set up for the
Cool. So
public folders. So
yeah,
I'm
so
curious
the main,
why.
yeah, so the main thing, that's the tricky thing about version 9 is it is a lot different in regard to permissioning where you like you really have to have it dialed in or it's gonna really confuse you.
Right, okay,
So all the permissioning, if you want to have an end user or any type of user group not to have access to the project hub, but maybe just to the dashboards of
right,
that project, then all you do is go into that project hub as your designer user, go to
okay.
the public folder, manage the permissions, and give that user group that permissions, or if it's a specific account, you can do it that way.
And just so I can say that again, can you show me what the settings you use for that one? Oops,
Yep,
you left
yep.
it.
Well, I was going to extrapolate out. So I just went to the
Okay,
project hub of the thing that I wanted. I
okay,
expanded the public area of that project. Then
uh-huh,
I right clicked that public folder, manage permissions, and I could even do it even more, germane on the dashboard level, right? Because I could have like 3 dashboards: one's HR, one's finance, and one's
exactly.
end user, right? So you can even do it, filter it to even that level, right? So that only people who see, so only specific users see the specific dashboard they need. I'm just making it easy for myself and I'm just putting it on the public folder. But then what you do is go to your dashboard, add the permissions, and then go ahead and make sure that you add the group. And then the ones that did was can use, can open, can view were the 3.
You did that on public folders?
I did that on public, or you can do it on the specific manager
Well, that's
dashboard.
all I did all I did was set up the manager dashboard with the correct permissions, and I'm getting that full, like it's shown up there at the top almost. So I don't know if I've just
So
done
you
something
did it, you
wrong
did it
with
up here.
what's highlighted. Let's see.
Because remember, this is the project hub view. If you're in this view, this is like the decision studio
Yeah.
view. So an
Um,
actual end user is going to be in the folder view here, and they're going to see this. As you can see, I only have access to the folder view. So that's what gives you that breadcrumb of just the home and then to that.
well, that's what we want, but I don't know what I've done differently. So,
Basically, what I would do, the first thing to test, Marvin, is make sure that when you test this, you log out and don't give that end user designer permissions. Because if you give
they
them
don't.
designer,
It's
okay,
just
good.
another user I created from a previous sprint.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
Well,
they
yeah.
wouldn't have had access to that. Yes.
Okay, cool. So yeah, then the only thing you need to make sure you do is right click just on this permissions for the folder here and give that specific permission group to that end user.
All
And then
right.
yours should look like this.
And
Well,
Marvin, I'll send you a personalized email when I get this on YouTube so you can watch it back so you don't got to feel like
yes,
you got to write it all down. I'll email you
please.
personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I checked on the sidelines. Another option might be you'd have to be a little exploratory in it is if you make that reporter page workflow catalog item, it has similar functionality to what Jared was saying. I made a report and made it a
Okay.
workflow catalog item and it's a cleaner UI. But it depends on again what your use case and what you want your UI to look like.
Okay. So, okay, for the sprint, it just said had create a public folder, but So we might want to stick with using the catalog to do.
Well, it depends on what you want.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Catalog is just if you want to run flows. The public
Oh,
folder is if you
that's
have
right.
dashboards.
Thank
That's
you.
the difference between the two. Yeah.
All right.
You could also run from your workflow catalog. You can run a report, like you can have it show a report. It depends on how developed your page is, but yeah, Jared is correct on
Yeah.
that.
Okay. All right. I'll be on the lookout for the recording in your email, and
Sure.
that way I can compare and see what I did differently. Thank you.
Yeah. My pleasure. How many? We got another question in the chat from the QA, and I think we also got another one. Nope. The question in the chat is how many steps exist in decisions? I think it's in the couple of thousands. I want to say like 4 to 6,000. We have a great article over, I think it's like, not this, it's like a step glossary. Unfortunately, it doesn't
Step
go over.
library.
Thank you, sir. Step library. And what this does is it's not an exhaustive list over everything in the toolbox because it is long. Oh, there we go, step library. And I'll put this document in the chat so that everyone could be able to see this one. And this is a very helpful document because it breaks down the different categories on the left right here. And then what you can do is you can expand it. It looks exactly like the flow designer. Like, so if I go into my, where is that? There we go. If I go into a flow, right? And let me just create a new one. This is going to be my new flow, right? And so in this new flow, what we have here is, right, we have the exact same categories on the left is what you see in the steps glossary over here. And so if there is a step that I'm concerned about, or not really concerned about, but want to learn about, let's say I go to data and I want to know what the add days does, right? You might be able to have some success by going in here, going to data, going to dates, add day step, and then it gives you kind of a breakdown of when it was introduced, what's the data type, what's the default output, and then here is how it's used here. So it's approximately like I think 4 to 6,000 steps if I were to guess. It is a lot. Would you happen to have a list? I've been hoping to train a GPT on what steps exist so new users can find which steps can be used to complete the task. Unfortunately, I do not. I wish I did, but I don't have a list of all the steps that are in there. Well, that is an awesome idea with the GPT.
Within some of those subcategories on the documentation site, Alexander, it does show a list of subcategories. So like if you click on dates, Jared,
Mhm.
maybe not that category.
Another one.
Some of the categories, like I know that String Builder has it, but like it'll list out the steps within that category in a short descriptor of what it. Yeah, there you go, perfect.
Mhm.
That might be helpful, but I have no experience with training GPT models.
Ooh, do you have any knowledge of querying SQL Lite in decisions? I do not. I believe it shouldn't be too different. I mean, let me see if I can educate myself in like 2 seconds over SQL Lite. SQL Lite. Database engine. We're all built into all mobile phones. Okay, cool. Yeah, the only thing is, I believe the difficulty of that one is if you build, let me go to my local and I can go in and show, or actually I can just go into this one I have, is I don't think we can probably integrate with it, but the thing you would most likely have to do is in the integration. And if we create a database and you create a connection, we do have like default connectors that you can connect with some databases, but you may have to use like an ODBC or a different type of database type connection, and then see if you can get that to connect with it. Or you can create your own, you can create your own kind of flow that takes in that connection string and does the information it needs to actually connect it. You can create your own for that type. So I believe you would have to do that, Jeremy, to actually connect to the SQL Lite. because we just don't have a default, SQL Lite database type connector here. So. Any other questions? What's the fastest way to get to the query editor? Well, let's see. There's a couple of ways. The way I like to do it is I like to right click, go to more, and I believe it should be, right click a designer folder and just go to query editor. I like that way. To me, that's the fastest. But you can do it on the folder action here and navigate it that way. Or you might, not in version 9, but maybe in version 8. In version 8, you go to other and then query editor. And I think you can do it here as well. Yeah. So that's what I would say. That's the fastest way to get to it. Trying to think of what other useful tidbits of version 9 that would be helpful. Let's see, project conversion. This is helpful many times if, not that one. Many times if you update a database that is currently version 8 into version 9, you will see all of your version 8 projects in kind of this folder view here, which is technically the portal view in version 9. Right, I can access it. I can look at all the stuff here. I can see a dashboard. I can see the training sections. What you would do then in that regard, if you updated it, then if you right click and then go to the projects right here, you'll have a thing underneath that says project conversion that allows you to convert the project. If you didn't, upgrade from version 8 to version 9 and yet you had a clean install of version 9, then you can manually import your designer projects into here, and then you can right click projects and then move them to an existing project hub, or you can go to the new projects, click an icon and create a new project for it. So that's how you can do that.
Another catch on that, just because I've kind of been in the throes of it. If you do that convert legacy project option that Jared was talking about, it will keep the same naming convention. So if you ever want to change the name of your project, that is the only time you can really do it. So if you do that right click convert legacy project, it'll keep the same name of the project and you cannot change that. It's immutable. So if you wanted to change the name of your project between version 8 and version 9, you would have to go with what he showed you as the move project to folder rather than convert legacy project.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Another question, can you set up a node to rerun up to 3 times on a failed run? Let's see. I'm gonna do, let's do a divide. I'll divide by 0 because I know that will definitely error out and fail. So value will be 5 and we shall divide by 0. Perfect. If I go to the outcomes or the testing and simulation, I wonder if through here you can have it go down triggers for on error, run flow. So you can say if that error is run a flow, store. So you can store it, I believe. Let's see, run unit tests. Add outcome path. So I don't think there's a default as to rerun it 3 times on a failed run. So typically what we do here is we'll build logic for this. There's no easy way out of the box just to go to this step and say, hey, rerun, this if it fails. So typically what we'll see, and I wonder if I want to see if I have a faster example that I've created way back for a deprecated system that we no longer use, but it was a pretty cool flow in and of itself. Create instance. That's that. Design a REST method. Yeah, that's the power. Yep. Creating instance. I think it's in this one. Let me see if I find it. There we go. I think it's this one. Wait, it's not this one. There is. I think it is. Instance name. Yeah, I think so. Nope, not that one. I'm off screen looking at something. I will share once I find the specific one I'm looking for, because it's just super. answers this question perfectly. Because essentially what you want to do, okay, so that's there. I think it was one that I created. So let's see. Create account. Extra flow, create account, rest method, create account, create admin. Yeah, okay, it should be this one. Nope. Okay. So I'll just build it out really quick. So essentially what we'll do is like if we have something that errors out and we want to try some new data, essentially what you do is you would have like a create data step or some type of logic that what you would do is you would say, hey, if it fails, oops, not this one. We'll say if this divide step fails, and let's say I want to retry it, then what you can do is you can add another outcome, and then you can connect that to the next step that you want to send it to. And then you can connect it and have it go back into that step with some new data. The flow that I was trying to find that I was unable to find for you guys is on an old system where we had to integrate, where we had to spin up training environments for people. We had certain servers we had at the time had different admin creds. And so what I developed in that flow is I said, hey, if this integration failed to create an account because I had an error saying that that account, that administrator account doesn't exist in the system, then what I did is on the exception path, I had it changed to the other set of credentials it could be, and then rerun that same step with that new credentials. If that failed, I had a third set, and then it reran that set into it until it got the hit that it needed, and then it went down the done path. So you can absolutely utilize this type of like framework of logic to say, hey, if this errors out, just rerun this, and then after you can have a counter that says after 2 or 3 times, then go down to the next part of the process. But there's no kind of easy trigger or flag you can just set to do that. You'd have to configure some logic on how you want to handle that for it. Any other questions? It's gonna bug me. I really want to show this to you guys because I think it's a really cool flow. Completed projects. That's old. Nope. Yeah, there we go. Nope, wasn't this one. Oh yeah, it's this one. Get deleted account, generate, send, test, spin up, multiple instances, send. Activate email list to students, send activate email list. Nope, not that one. Nope, not that. I know I had it. Create user accounts for hey. Okay, okay. I think I might have found it. This is gonna be a really cool tree. Yes, this is what I found. Perfect. So here's the flow. So essentially what I had here, so this is an old deprecated flow we no longer use because we don't have the system anymore. But it still serves as a great illustration where what I had, it's a horribly designed flow. I need to subflow this a lot more. This was back in my younger days where I didn't, but this probably should be subflowed. I probably would subflow this, subflow this. This would be its own subflow. But the cool thing about it here is this thing says, hey, if this thing errors out, right, and it errors out with the password that it's given to it, then what it's going to do, it's going to go on the error path. And then I just have in this case, I just add a string equals step that says, hey, if it says there's no account found with the user ID and it contains that text, then I want you to change the iterator to 1 so I can track how many times this went through. And then based on the iteration, I created a admin credentials password that said, hey, go ahead and run this and change the password and the admin email to whatever it is. And it'll do that 3 times. And if after a while it still fails and we get a different error that's not one of these things, then we'll go down here. right? Obviously, I think you'd also want to make sure you have some type of escape logic, so this is not kind of perpetuating and just keep hitting the same error. That's kind of faulty logic that I had in this one, but you can leverage that error path to check for a certain error exception. And if you have any like restart or retrigger logic that you want to do to change the inputs of the step that initially errored out, you can send that through. So I wanted to show that because I think the question at the end was a really good one. And this is an example where we've built some of that logic and I've had that happen. All right. Any other questions?
We had one pop up in the Q&A. I sent out an answer. It might have deleted it if it did, but it was related to how you can use Python. Let's see if I can find it again. Someone
Oh
said,
yeah, can I use Python instead of decisions instead of the steps to transform data? I mean, you could. Yeah, you can go utilize the Python module, have it transform data, and then it'll output that data into it. Because what it does is inside of decisions, where is that? Right, when you add a script, you can have it have, I think, input and output data. Let me look at the document you sent because we can talk about that together. Script. The restart required, no, it's in the core GitHub prerequisites. From container. We add that script. And inputs. Hey, it looks like, I don't know if, okay, yeah, with success and it outputs. Yeah, so you can, so if it all depends on how you've written your script, because your script can have an output and then you can send that to change data of another step. So you do have that option if you want. You just have to make sure you configure your Python script to actually output data. All right, cool. Any other questions? All right, I don't see any more questions. Wait, we got one. Yay, QA. Yeah, absolutely. So if you want to get assistance from help with training, if you're going through the training program, you can email the trainers at training@decisions.com. I'm going to go ahead and put that in the answer here. When you do that, an email gets sent to an email inbox that we all see. And one of the trainers, either myself, Robert, Greg, or Jeremy, or if you're on IST side, some of the IST folks can help you. We can email back and forth. Or if you just need help and you're really stuck and you just want someone on a call, you can ask for a call and we'll help you out. Our goal is to make you succeed and make you feel comfortable with the tool. And you can ask us any questions about the project and we can help you out in that regard. So yes, training@decisions.com. I'll type it in the chat right here so everyone can see it. Hopefully I spelled it right. But yes, just email training@decisions.com and we'll be able to assist you with any inquiries that you may have. Any other questions? What is it? Oh, I know why, because I answered it live. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and end the Zoom call so that we can get this recorded and on YouTube so people can see the resolutions. Tomorrow we will have Robert. He will be hosting the Tuesday, July 9th Lunch and Learn. So please join that. He's really good and he will be able to help you out with the questions you may have. But with that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and I'll see you guys next time. Yes, we'll be emailing it out, Alexander. Once it loads, we still have to, it has to mix off Zoom and then we have to upload it to YouTube. But once we get that uploaded, we'll send that to you.
I'll send
We'll
you the
send that
link
to
as well. I'll send it
Yep.
to you, Alexander.
Awesome. All right. Have a great day, everyone.